I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here inside the Hub Culture studio back with Greg Day, Chief Security Officer at Palo Alto Networks, one of our favorite partners here at Hub Culture. Thanks very much for coming along.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back again on a beautiful sunny day here in Davos.
It is beautiful and sunny. Now, inside the Congress Center, just behind us, there is a lot of talk about cybersecurity. In fact, one of the risks mentioned by the World Economic Forum in their recent report said that in terms of the rising risks, the risk of cybersecurity is rising. Now, why is it, and what are we doing about it?
So it's a great question. I think people always lean and go, there are more and more cyber threats, but actually I don't think that's the risk we need to think about. The problem we have is every business is trying to digitally transform their processes. And so effectively, if you think about it, more and more of what businesses do is online. So their profile, their risk posture is getting bigger and bigger. What do they need to do about it? Well, here's a really interesting statistic. We surveyed organizations last year and we found only 23% of them actually had visibility of what was going on in their own environment in any real time. So actually the first step is they need to be able to stop responding problem by problem, each new project, each new threat, and actually look at it in a more holistic way, join together their cybersecurity into a platform that allows all of the different things they do to natively function. Security is embedded in what they do. If they can't do that, and this was a scary bit, we found only 12%, when there was something going on, could actually respond to it across all of their ecosystem. I think the key point here as well, I don't want to make this sound bad. The reality is we're making this transformation so fast, it's really hard for organizations to keep pace, get cybersecurity embedded in natively as they go on that journey.
We also are in a situation where I think Accenture found recently that something like 70% of companies, listed companies, considered themselves technology companies. Now, those aren't technology companies that you or I were traditionally call that, but it's another way to put what you're saying there, that is in this digital world. For example, Nike is moving from a retail company to a company which is making devices, to a company which is a healthcare company. Now, at each step of that, we're seeing security risk because there's new products coming online, new forms of digitization, and new ways in which cyber and security are at risk.
Well, you bring up a great point here, and I think it's one that really executives, board members need to really get their head around, which is we're moving into a world where we have this digital mesh, more and more connected information using different suppliers, manufacturers, and what it means is we get into a very shared model of responsibility. And I would challenge organizations, it's really easy to say, do we understand that? And just say, yep, we get it. But there is a world of detail behind that, and challenge your organizations to say, where does that responsibility stop and start? Which bits are ours? Which bits do we hand off? And under things like GDPR and other regulation, it's not good enough just to simply say, I asked them and they said yes. You actually need to check out and need to be ongoing assessing really just where that responsibility is and who is putting in what controls and how do you actually validate that. And I think that's, again, a key thing for every organization, which is what are the metrics that you challenge your organization, your partners and your supply chain to actually have that confidence that you're in a good enough state, you're managing that risk balanced to the business's perspective.
And of course, these are partners that you choose as a company, but also partners that your customer chooses. So let me tell you another story I heard this morning from Bernd Leukart, who's on the board of SAP, talking about a friend of his put his coat by the front door. In the coat pocket was the car key. Car was gone in the morning. Turns out somebody had driven up outside the garage, hacked into the garage, opened the garage door, hacked into the car, stolen the car, driven away. Now, whose fault is that, right? Is it the manufacturer of the garage door? Is it the manufacturer of the car? Is it the customer's fault, the consumer's fault for hanging his coat too close to the door?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think that really comes back to that shared responsibility understanding. But I think it also raises another really key point, which is what can we expect at each of that level? As a consumer, should I need to understand all of that minutiae of detail? So what do we put on the consumer? One of the things we see, and this is really common, is we put more and more processes in the cloud, actually what we're seeing is about 3/4 of those lack the fundamentals of security that they should have. But what's happening is this isn't being done as a part of the normal IT process that involves cybersecurity. It's being done by very smart, if you like, the creative parts of the business that have got these great new ideas. They're not security experts. So then saying, you're responsible for applying all this security, they just quite simply don't have that knowledge. So I think one of the key things here is to go, even when I understand the responsibilities, to go, what is the expectations? Do I expect them to do all of the things like, should they have patched their garage door security? Should they put their car keys in a vault at night? What are the things I expect them to do versus what are the things that each of us need to do along that journey? And I think one of the key things here is there's just a huge shortage of skills. So we have to look and go, what can I automate? What can I embed in there that doesn't require a human in that process?
Greg, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture studio to give us our annual update on cybersecurity. I'm a little bit more scared than I was before, and I'm Edie Lush.